Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Adam's TV Podcast. I am your host, Adam Samuel, and today we are talking some X Factor UK. It was the top 10 week. Theme for this episode, 2 episodes, was movie night, and joining me to break it all down is my co-host, Eric. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing good, but I will never be able to be as pleasant sounding on this podcast as I was happy to hear what's his name? Epic voice guy doing the introductions for X Factor. John Bailey was his name. He said it's time to face music this week, and I recognized his voice, and I was so happy that they recruited him.
Eric, I have one question for you before we start our show. Was this the greatest show ever? Because we were taking a lot of songs from The Greatest Showman. So was it the greatest show?
Of the season, I would put out of the live shows this year, I would say this is my least favorite, I think, with the exception of 2 songs.
You know, they said that this was movie themed, but honestly, I think it was more The Greatest Showman theme because a lot of Greatest Showman songs.
No, it was actually 3/10 of the song. Almost a third of the songs were from Greatest Showman.
Eric, have you ever seen The Greatest Showman?
I have not.
I have not either. I mean, one of their songs, I guess.
I've heard is that the movie is terrible, but the soundtrack is great.
I just, Simon Cowell, back when we were recapping America's Got Talent, I believe he said that The Greatest Showman was his favorite movie of all time. And I truly believe he wasn't kidding. I think he really likes this movie.
He's not kidding.
But let's kind of move on to the headline of the acts we lost this week. We lost at the bottom. The first acts leaving were Misunderstood, and then between a sing-off of Giovanni Spano and Acacia and Aaliyah, we inevitably, unfortunately, lost Giovanni. And I just want to say, Eric, when I saw this matchup, I thought Gio could easily outsing Acacia and Aaliyah. I thought he probably had this in the bag, but Gio ended up leaving. And I have the question, Eric, what happened?
Gio was not the last over, and Acacia and Aaliyah were the last remaining group. That's what happened.
Yep, I was gonna.
That simple.
I was gonna pull out a tinfoil hat, but I feel like I have this theory that honestly, once Misunderstood left, anyone sitting next to Acacia and Aaliyah in the bottom 2 were going home. Do you kind of
unless it was someone that Sam was going to sign at the end of it?
Yeah. So that kind of, I mean, it's a shame because I feel like we should talk about the the Save Me performances and the sing-off first, because Gio, he comes out singing this song and he did a good, it was maybe one of his best performances of the entire season.
I think it was his best performance of the entire season, hands down.
And then Acacia Aaliyah, and they just do a song that's same old. I've heard it like 100 times. Like,
yeah,
there's no originality here. I feel like with Acacia and Aaliyah, we've kind of hit the ceiling of what we're going to get out of them. And I feel like Gio kind of had a few more floors to go. I feel like he is leaving the competition.
He was
too
a far
soon.
more interesting contestant. He was a much better vocalist. But yeah,
it's
literally because they didn't want to get rid of all the remaining groups in one night.
He was in my top 3 contestants of the ones remaining. Like I was really high on this guy. Like he was really entertaining. Like his last song that he performed, "Let Me Entertain You," like I was digging it. I was like, okay,
I was digging it too.
He's got this. And then
I didn't think he got it, but I was a little bit mad at how they didn't even set it to deadlock, which is what they would do if they wanted to leave him with some dignity. But clearly the reason they didn't set it to deadlock is because he got more votes than they did.
So I guess kind of the question moving forward is, are Casey and Aaliyah doomed no matter what next week?
They're going to get the lowest number of votes this week.
Yes.
Calling it now.
And Brendan, our little inchworm, is just inching on.
He'll be in the bottom. He'll be in the sing-off, and I'll probably get cut then. Unless he's up against Danny. If he's up against Danny, he's safe.
I got to tell you, like, I'm really rooting for Brendan this season. Like, maybe it's the CC Fry effect, but like, I love.
He's 100%.
I'm like enjoying. Like, there's a certain sense of like abandonment. Like when you start like embracing these kinds of contestants that you're gonna root for, and just every week kind of feels like a blessing. Like, we're still here. Like, we're still moving on, and
we'll get to Misunderstood later though, because this week I was totally ready for them to go home.
We'll see. I don't know. Let's kind of get into the contestants. First up, we have our contestant who we lost was Giovanni Spano performing The Greatest Show from The Greatest Showman. I wrote that this was a very strong performance. I like the energy. He's kind of always bringing the energy. I love the high-end performances. What did you think?
He had a ton of production around him. Brendan Urie from Panic at the Disco did it better, but Gio delivered a competent vocal. I thought his sing-off performance was much better than his main performance.
I still, though, after watching this performance, I would have ranked him top 5 of the night. Like he was still
only because Casey and Aaliyah, Brendan, Danny, and maybe Shan were worse.
If I was maybe to voice like a gripe, I would say like, why were there have to be better rock songs than this for him? Like I guess I get that Simon loves this,
you know what,
show so much.
Give them credit. It was not the Asteroid song. I was never happier to be wrong about a prediction than I was about that.
And moving on from Eric predicting the end of the world, let's move on to Dalton Harris. He is performing California Dreamin'. And I just want to ask, Eric, are you a fan of this song?
So I don't know the original, sorry, but I've heard one other contestant sing it, and he was actually the first. I saw Sean Miley Moore a couple of years back. I saw his audition live at Wembley, and when I was in London studying abroad, he was excellent. He didn't, and then his second live show performance was the song, and he got sent home after it, and it was excellent. Dalton did it way better. Dalton is now saying both of the live show songs that Sean sang. And he's done both of them better, and I think Dalton's going to win. I thought this was excellent.
For me, I really don't like this song. Like I don't know why, but every time I hear it, it's just kind of like a song that I know a lot of people get, and I'm just like, eh. But for Dalton, I mean, like, what is there really to say for him? Like, this is just another stellar performance. Like he keeps giving like such amazing performances. There's no real denying that he's like at the top of the game. I think he's going to win. Like, I really do think, like, there's only one contestant who we'll talk about next, actually, who I think maybe could be the spoiler, but honestly, he is yet to falter, and we are top 8 now, and it's getting close. And I think he's got this, honestly.
I think so, too.
And if he doesn't, I think Scarlett will be a worthy winner, but I think Dalton has more so deserved it.
I think they would both deserve it, and if you put them both in other seasons, they would both have a legitimate chance of winning, which is good. I think Dalton's voice is a little bit more unique than Scarlett's, and that's why I tend to lean towards him. But yeah, I think they're both stellar, so I'll be happy with either of them.
I would kind of maybe like to see, like, since Dalton is already like number 1 on the list, in my opinion, I would maybe like to see a risk, maybe do something a little bit different. Like, he's got everyone's attention.
Here's the thing, actually, Dalton. I follow Dalton on Twitter. Someone asked him about that. Like, he should take a risk and sing a reggae song like he used to do, because he was originally a reggae singer. And the thing is, he said, for me, this is out of my comfort zone right now. Is the songs I'm doing.
That's an interesting point.
But
I would like, because he's like already like seems like a foregone conclusion, I would maybe want to switch it up. Like, show me, like, I feel like he's being really good, but he's kind of missing like the David Cook, Billie Jean moment, or the Adam Lambert Mad World. Like, everything has kind of been like an A+, but I need like that double A+, like that. Maybe that's just me like nitpicking. Like, I feel like
it might be, but honestly, I think he has more to give, and we'll see what he does. I think he could very well win just keeping up what he's doing, because what he's doing, as he said, is an A+. But
yeah,
it'd be nice to see an A++ performance.
I just think he's capable of like a Candace Lover love song moment. Like, because he's already there. Like, he just needs that one like absolutely like you'll never forget it performance to kind of like solidify him as a bit of a legend. Already, he's like probably gonna win. Just something I'm kind of thinking about. Yeah, and let's kind of keep it going. Next up, we have Scarlett Lee, and she is performing "I'll Never Love Again" from A Star Is Born. Have you seen A Star Is Born, Eric?
I have not. My mom has, and she loves it. And the soundtrack is amazing. Lady Gaga is an amazing singer. Scarlett is also an amazing singer. And so, yeah, I think Scarlett nailed this too.
I want to say that her voice is kind of starting to remind me a little bit of Kelly Clarkson. I don't know if this is just me, but I'm listening to her.
It's good, obviously, but you got sort of get a hint of a tone. Yeah, I get that.
There's like some moments, and I'm like, ooh, like if I'm closing my eyes and I'm a few distance away, like I would believe that this is Kelly Clarkson singing, which is maybe just a testament to her like natural born talent, but she's also just really good. Like she can do like really good things with her voice. Maybe if I was to nitpick, because I feel like she is kind of like trailing a little behind Dalton. We haven't seen an up tempo from her, and I feel like that is something. I feel like that's one thing that maybe could be something that could be her downfall in the coming weeks. Like maybe they saddle her with an uncomfortable song that maybe she might not be 100% on board with. Just something I'm kind of thinking about. Maybe it's something
on if they want her to do well or not. If they wanted her to do well, they will keep her in this leading position or as like an Adele-like singer or Kelly-like singer. If they don't want her to do well and they don't want to sign her, they will sabotage her by giving her a dance track or something like that.
I mean, we'll see. Right now, she's number 2, like
100%.
The thing is, she's the only one who can beat Dalton. But I feel like, is it too like much of a foregone conclusion that she will make top 2? Do you think like she might possibly be a shock boot, or do you think she's kind of got that top 3 spot wrapped up?
I think she's in top 3. I'm not confident she's in top 2 yet. And I'm worried about that because I really think she deserves to be.
All right. Well, let's kind of keep it going to our little inchworm. Brendan. He is performing "Everybody Hurts" by REM, and he is still inching on. We have made it into the top 8. Who'd have thought we would be here after top 12 week? We are still going strong. How did you like this performance, Eric?
Well, it's a song that got on the Golden X a couple rounds ago, actually. You didn't see that, right? Well, he sang the song before. He sang with the 6-year challenge. This was the song that gave him the Golden Buzzer. So I figured if the judges were going to call him on anything, it was doing a reprise of a song he did a couple rounds ago. But the reason they couldn't do that is because Shan also did a song she did before. So, so they couldn't do that. I thought it was good. Better than last week by a mile, but I'm still surprised he wasn't bust.
Yeah, this was a song that's kind of like perfectly in his lane. Like it's a quiet song. It doesn't kind of go too high or too low. It's kind of like a middling song that kind of let him breathe. Like he has a very breathy voice, and it just it kind of was right in his lane. These are the kinds of songs that he should be picking, and I feel like if he continues to pick songs like this, he maybe could make top 6, which is kind of crazy to say, but
we can make top 6, but it can't make it forever with that.
You know, he's just giving me so many flashbacks to CC Fry. Like there was someone who was even performing a song CC Fry performed in the past, and I'm envisioning like her through Brendan, and it's kind of fun, and I'm really enjoying it. I was still though really worried after his performance because sometimes like that run where they're no longer like feared, the audience no longer fears that they're in trouble, and so they kind of stop voting for them. I was a little worried for that.
That was what I thought they were aiming to do.
But thank God he's still and he seems humble. Like they kind of painted him as like an everyman, and during like the results, people were like we're cheering for him. Like he seems like he might have another week in him, and that's kind of exciting for me.
Yeah.
Such a downer on our intro. All right, let's talk a little bit about Acacia and Aaliyah. I don't really have many notes about them. I feel like every performance that they do is kind of the same, and there's, like I said, there's no real. We're not going anywhere. This journey isn't gonna like go to the next level. It's kind of just staying on the same thing.
2 weeks ago, it should have ended, but what are you gonna do? And here's the weird thing. I thought this was less good than they've been in the past this week.
Really?
I thought it was worse than usual.
I just kind of like, I'm a little like turned off like always because I'm just not feeling it. But
it's not my thing.
I just felt meh.
Past weeks where it was also not my thing. I felt they were better, but
we'll have to see about them. But I think they're doomed next week. Like this is
100%.
I feel like this journey is gonna end.
Yeah.
All right. let's keep it going, shall we? Let's talk about Bella. I feel like we're blowing through these. Bella is performing A Million Dreams from The Greatest Showman, and she kind of starts the performance like in front of a mirror. She does this kind of like talking to her 10-year-old self. Not a fan of that. It was a little bit like cheese, a little bit too much. Like it was a little bit, but as soon as she like got that out of the way, like the rapping part that she wanted to include, and just started singing, I thought it was gold. I thought she was top 5 of the night. This was a really stellar performance, Eric.
I thought it was excellent too. I think the problem with her is that, again, the problem with the performance for me was that I heard Pig's version of the song on the soundtrack. I mean, on the reimagined soundtrack thing. I think this was the best she sounded so far in the entire competition. And I think it helped. I like the fact that she didn't rap this week. I like that a lot. And I like the fact that the vocals were good enough to justify her not rapping.
Yeah, she just also seems like such a personable person. Like she just seems
lovely.
Like a sweetheart. But the one thing that I always hate is like they have her intro package where her little brother comes and he just says like the most generic lines, like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you." And I'm always wondering, like, do they just always say the exact same like 3 lines? Like every time they have an intro package, they all just say, "Oh, we're all rooting for you. Oh, we're so proud of you," and nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Whatever.
I don't know.
What are you gonna do?
Do you think she has a shot top 3, or do you have any hope?
She's definitely top 6. I think she gets cut in the bloodbath.
That would be a shame because I'm really rooting for her. I just want to say she's of my like personal top 3. Like she's in my top 3. Like it was her, Gio, and Dalton, and kind of Scarlett like a little bit there too. And I don't know. I'm a little bit sad that she's kind of probably not gonna go that much further.
It's okay because one of your top 3 is gonna win, so that's good.
All right, let's talk about Misunderstood. They are doing Maniac from Flashdance. I kind of really love this song, but this performance was not.
Can I take the lead since they were my number 1 draft pick?
Go for it.
Okay. So, first, I'm hoping that they're going to sing a ballad this week because that's what we needed to do to actually survive. Then they say they misunderstoodified the song in the studio, which to me sounds like when George W. Bush said, "They misunderestimated me," as in it's a word that doesn't exist and it makes no sense. And then they came up with their own choreography. And when I heard the word choreography, I'm like, oh God, they're not changing it up. We're screwed. And then they started out with decent harmonies, and then it was good, but like all 3 of their live show performances it was good, but not a moment.
I wrote down that it was just kind of karaoke. Like it was weird. Yeah, it was
passable, but it was not what they needed to survive.
It was just nothing
and
special.
It pisses me off because every week that went by, I know what they're capable of, and it's so much more than what they've been delivering. And because I feel like they were never going to deliver like they could, I'm not mad that they got cut at all. I'm
gonna say,
I'm gonna add that they came across a little bit cocky in Dermot's interview. So
I wasn't getting that at all. I actually think they kind of took it in stride because I feel like this song was a trap. Like there's in Star Wars, you know, Admiral Akbar, he goes, "It's a trap." Like that's what I was thinking because this was a bussing, an old-fashioned bussing. I mean,
it was an incredible bussing.
Simon takes a knife and just rips into them, like kind of. He's like, "Oh, I wouldn't sign you. You don't know who you are," and it was just bussing. But that's got to be soul crushing to hear, and I think what can you do? And they were, for what they were trying to do on the show. I mean, they were entertaining. They just were never the next level that they kind of needed to be.
And I'm annoyed because they could have been. That's what annoys me.
All right, let's move on to Danny Tetley. He's performing "My Heart Will Go On" from Titanic. This is one of the biggest songs I think I've I know, like in my music vocabulary. This is like the biggest. This is you've got to be a little ballsy to kind of take the song on. But this was, for me, it was solid, but it was forgettable. And when you're doing a song like this, I should remember you performing it afterwards, and I didn't.
I don't think anyone's had a moment with this song ever.
Carly Sonic-Claire.
See, the problem with that is that she couldn't connect to the song, and she was just delivering it. She sang it well, but Well, everyone has sung the song well, but no one's had a moment with it. That's what I'm trying to say. I've heard so many singers sing the song on these shows and sing it well, sing it good to great. None of them I consider it to be a moment.
The thing is, for me, I can't find myself getting excited for Danny. Like, there's other contestants that I like can connect with because they have like entertaining personalities, or they just seem like down to earth people. For me, there's like a disconnect with Danny. Like, I can't. He's kind of always been towards the bottom of my ranking, and I think he's going to be in trouble next week. Honestly,
we will see.
We'll see.
So. I think the groups and the overs might be done next week, actually, which would be really weird.
And Brendan just keeps on inching along.
Oh, I forgot about Brendan. Yeah, so Brendan's gonna either the group or the overs will be done next week.
All right, let's talk about Anthony Russell performing "Eye of the Tiger." And as soon as I saw this song choice that he's singing this, I was like, "Goodbye, Anthony." This was a performance that a few years ago on the X Factor US, CC Fry had the performance of the season with. This was there was no way that anyone could top this in my mind. And the more I was watching the intro package, I was getting the dun dun duns were kind of starting. I was thinking, okay, this is going to be a mess. But it wasn't. It was better than it could have been, better than it should have been. And the fact that that's the case, I think, is pretty amazing. What do you think, Eric?
Okay, so entering from backstage, I was laughing for a lot of this because it was so hilariously over the top. I have to say, the vocal was great, and by the end of the thing, I'm thinking it was his best performance so far. Am I crazy?
How crazy is that? It's Eye of the Tiger.
Am I crazy for thinking that it was his best performance so far?
It's the performance for me that I'm going to remember most from Anthony because everything about this should have been terrible.
Oh, exactly.
It wasn't, and it was better than passable, which says so much, which is just insane to me. And I can't say it enough. This should have been terrible. Like, on paper, 100%. This is an awful idea. This is like a trap. And he somehow made it work. And that makes me appreciate him like so much more. This was the first time when I was like, okay, Anthony, you done good. And it should have been that way is all I can really say.
100%. It should have been a total disaster. And for a good portion of it, I was laughing like it was. But then I realized, oh, God, he's actually singing it pretty well, and he's actually making it work.
But for me, I think he's still like fourth, maybe just shut out of the finale, I think.
I think he actually is the one contestant who could possibly inch Scarlett or Shan out of the finale.
You're saying inching, and I'm being reminded of Brendan, so don't
Edge. Sorry. Edge.
All right. We'll see. Let's kind of move on to our final contestant of the night. It is Shan Echo. She's performing Never Enough from The Greatest Showman, rounding out our trio of Greatest Showman songs. I just don't get the hype for Shan. You talk a lot about how big of a chance she has to win, but I just don't get it. What did you think, Eric?
Well, first of all, let me clarify that I don't get it either, nor have I ever gotten it. I'm just reporting what other people are saying. This was her audition song, and the thing was, Shan, from her first audition, always seemed to me to be a lesser vocalist than Scarlett. Because Scarlett also auditioned with this song. And Scarlett sang it really well, and Shan passable. And so Shan actually sang it worse on the live show than she did in her audition, because she screwed it up quite a bit. But what made me happy was that the judges actually did call her out on screwing it up. Screwing up the timing, not being the right song, not delivered perfectly. I'm just underwhelmed by her, and this did nothing to change that for me.
For me, this was her first subpar performance, which I think is a reflection of what would have happened if like Dalton had a subpar performance. It shows like the Emperor has a crack in their armor. Like they aren't this god or goddess that we kind of thought they were. And I think that's gonna really take a dent from Shan's progress. I think she could be in trouble. Probably not next week, but the following week she might be in trouble with the bloodbath.
I doubt it, but I'm not ruling it out at this point.
All right. Well, that's kind of we kind of got through them all really quickly, but that is kind of our episode. We lost Misunderstood into Casey and Aaliyah. We had our sing off. A lot of people cheering for Brendan. I'm hoping he can kind of pull it through. We'll have to wait and see. This competition's really starting to like heat up. I think we're gonna get down to the wire. I think we're gonna maybe get a shock boot next week, Eric. Do you think?
Not next week, but the week after we'll get one.
Yes. And on that note, do you have any final things you want to touch on from the episode, or I guess we'll head to the wrap?
I don't want to touch on anything final from the episode, but I do want to talk about some big news for this podcast. Since I did it, I'd like to bring it up. So we are now going to be available on iTunes as an audio podcast. And while we wait for Apple to approve a feed, you can subscribe to it right now manually. So I'm going to comment on the YouTube link with all of the information about how to subscribe to us on iTunes. And once we're up on the podcast store, it'd be great if you all could rate and subscribe, because that's the thing people say, and that actually helps. So
yes. That is a huge thing. I do want to say a huge thank you to Eric for kind of setting this up. He kind of took the reins on this project. It's an idea that I've had for a while and kind of never really vocalized. And Eric kind of pulled that idea from my brain and was like, this is something we should do. And I'm really excited because this is our podcast is growing, Eric. And I just want to say thank you for your contributions.
No problem. I'm excited to be able to download my own podcast on my iPhone.
And on that note, I want to say that I am Adam Samuel. You can find me on Twitter at AdamSoapbox or on my two websites, AdamSoapbox.com, AdamCVblog.com. Where can we find you, Eric?
EricAscher.com, Eric_Ascher on Twitter, EricAscher01 on YouTube. I'm seeing David Cook tomorrow night, so I will have some videos up from that on Thursday morning. So if you like my David Cook videos, which odds are if you're following me on Twitter, you might, I'll have some more of them up. So I'm excited for that.
All right, guys, this was fun. We'll be back next week for our episode. Hope you'll join us. And until then, check us out on iTunes. Maybe you'll enjoy re-listening to some of our older recaps. And on that note, peace.